So welcome everyone to 3 Steps to Prosperity and Freedom. We are embracing the language around your unsung song because we're going to talk a lot in this presentation about the upcoming program for women over 50 called Your Unsung Song. And so we're embracing all the metaphors of not leaving dance moves on the floor, which was something very inspiring that my friend Lois said early on in one of our interviews. And Wayne Dyer says, "Don't die with your music still in you." And so there's all of these beautiful analogies. And I've encountered so many women that are in my generation and older who are feeling like life has passed them by, that it's they don't feel good in their bodies, and they just accept that that's because of a certain age, or have given up on finding their soulmate and their life partner, or starting their business, or having their impact, or having the prosperity that they want. And so that was the inspiration for Your Unsung Song, which we'll be talking about a little bit more throughout the gathering today. All right, so this is, there's a whole lot of stuff on here. I'm not going to make you look at this all this time. I'm going to show you a more interesting graphic. But this is just kind of my life up until now, and the twists and turns, and the way that I was able to really start over from scratch in 2011 and rebuild my life into what it is now. So I wouldn't go all the way back to the very beginning of my life, except that it's relevant. The way that I was born, the way that I came into this life on this planet is important, because I was born happy. And I've heard a lot of people saying that, oh, you're born with a happiness quotient. And if that's true, I came into the world with a whole bunch of happiness and a real tendency towards positivity and optimism. And I was talking with my friend Eden, who hopefully will be here today. She's one of my spiritual advisors and mentors, and my dear friend. And she actually is going to share a bonus with us also in Your Unsung Song. So that's going to be a treat for us. But she is a mystical medicine woman, and she said that means that you have the prescription of happiness, and it's a gift that you are meant to share with the world. So that's why I share that I was born with all of this, because at the end of the day today, what we are all wanting to do is live a life of purpose, and our purpose is unique to us. And part of my purpose is to teach happiness, and is to give you the tools to create happiness and joy and freedom and success and love and all the things that you want in your life for yourself, right? So I was a very happy kid. When I was in my early teens, I was very spiritual. I wanted to be a missionary. I was very tapped into the Christian community and could see myself traveling the world and spreading the love of Jesus, and unconditional love and faith and peace and all of the great stuff that is true spirituality. And then, I had some things happen that, a lot of people in the personal development and spiritual world call this, disappointed faith. They'll call it spiritual wounding. But it's also, at the same time, it's important to take responsibility for the way that your life unfolds and not to put blame on other people. So just suffice it to say that in my teenage mind, I put together these messages of sin and your body being bad and all of those. And I arrived at the conclusion that I wasn't really worthy of this godly life. And it's an important point because it does inform a whole lot of what went on for the rest of my life. But we'll kind of talk more about that as we're exploring these principles that we're here to share together today. So from the age of 18 to the age of 47, I was living this life of being disconnected from source. And now, if you're a coach or starting a business or being a speaker or doing anything like this, marketing gurus are going to try to get you to construct a compelling story that is your story. That is your story of transformation and growth and how you got to where you're going. And that I have been trying for 10 years to create this big contrast of before and after. And it just doesn't really work that way, because even though for these 3 decades of my life, I was living disconnected from my source, I was feeling like I was creating from my own human power, and kind of shallow and kind of lonely and kind of powerless, I was still having a great life. I had great jobs, I had great careers, I had great relationships, I had tons of fun. Here's kind of a collage of the things that happened in my life. I got to travel. I was a radio personality and a news director. I'm in Barcelona. I was on a TV show. Doing.
Are you sharing something, Lauren? Because I
Yes.
can't really see.
You can't see the screen?
No, we can only see you. Is it just me?
Nope, it's not just you. I did this all wrong. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. I didn't see the previous slide either. I know you said something about a graph or something.
Okay, good. So stay, keep unmuted for me, Tatiana, and tell me if this works right this time.
Yes. Now
I can see the slide. Okay. Yes. All right. So this is the thing that I'm not going to bore you with. This timeline of my life. So thank you so much for alerting me to this technical difficulty. All right, so here, this will make so much more sense when you can actually look at this and see this. So there's the happy baby that I was, and the very last picture here is when I was on the singing bee. So throughout this 3 decades of my life, I was creating things, I was having success, but I wasn't able to hold on to anything because everything was kind of on this shallow, mortal realm, right? So in 2011, there was a kind of a rock bottom place where I really was just tired. I was tired of trying to create on my own. I didn't really know what was wrong, but what was happening is that I was not looking inside myself. I was trying to create the life that I thought the world wanted me to create. I was trying to be successful financially because of the worldly things connected with that. I was, numbing my real emotions with alcohol and managing my weight with drugs because I thought that I needed to be a certain weight in order to be lovable. And so all these things that I was trying to create were things that the world had told me were what I needed to create. And I was just out of juice in 2011. I hadn't been able to help anyone. My brother, who I had been trying to help and support, died of his addiction at only 50 years old. My mom was in a state-run nursing home because I couldn't afford to put her anywhere better, and neither could anybody else. And so everything was just kind of falling apart. And as I was putting this presentation together, I realized that that time in my life was kind of like the 5 that I learned from Eden in the Kabbalah, the cataclysm, the place where everything falls apart and everything gets destroyed in order to rebuild from a different place. And so this is the amazing story of the last 10 years of my life, when I started with nothing, bankrupt, almost homeless, just really, really from a blank slate. And I was forced to look inside myself and go, what are the absolutes that I want for my life? And, and a lot of it I didn't know. A lot of it I wasn't equipped to figure out, but I knew that I wanted to live in a place that belonged to me, that I had freedom and solitude and serenity and peace to find myself, to work on myself, to be in nature. And I knew that I wanted work that did not tie me down, that didn't make me accountable to another person, that I knew how to, but something that I knew how to do. And I didn't yet have the wisdom to check and make certain that this work was aligned with my heart and my values, but that was to come within just another year. So in the last year, I have created all of these wonderful things. I participated in a best-selling book that is an international bestseller, and I published my own book, which is the whole methodology of how I recreated my life. And I made this discovery that what happiness is living your life exactly the way you want to, according to your purpose, according to the things that you want in this life. So we're talking about prosperity and freedom. And at this point in my life, I have physically less than I have had at other times in my life. I've lived in and owned bigger houses. I've, driven nicer cars. I've had more money in the bank, but never at any time in my life have I felt as prosperous and as free as I do now, because I'm aligned with who I am. I'm connected to my source. I'm valuing the relationship that I have with all that is. I am the master of my mindset, and I am living according to the vision that I have designed for my life, and the way that I want my life to be. And those are the 3 steps. And they're not steps that you take one after another. They're aspects. They're parts that are happening all at once, and all 3 are completely vital. Now, they're not everything. They're not all of the things that all of the tools that we can use to create amazing lives, but they are the top 3. Okay, so this week I was stuck in a traffic jam. I'm currently out supplementing my income by driving for Uber and Lyft, which is a whole other fascinating story. And I'm meeting incredible people, and the universe is bringing all sorts of synchronicities to me. My new friend Susan may very well be on this presentation in this gathering with me. I just met her a couple of days, so I met so many kindred spirits and gained so much insight into the hearts and minds of human beings today. So anyway, I was in a traffic jam the other day, and I had the opportunity to go back and listen to some old Wayne Dyer audios that I had, on my phone, and I was hearing things that I had heard many times before, but they landed in a whole new way. And the one thing that he said was that there is no such thing as justified resentment, which is, just this whole mind-blowing Mother Teresa type concept that I know that I've heard many times, but have I been really truly embodying that and living that in my day-to-day life? No, I needed that reminder. And he had a whole lot of other things to say, but the bottom line for us today is that anything that we hear today is going to be completely different than anything we have ever heard before, because we have never been the person that we are today. We have had life experiences in the last week, in the last day, the month, year, lifetime, that changed us, that changed our point of view, that added to the lens that we look at life through. And so it's up to us to approach everything with an open mind and an open heart. And this is our goal, is to have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. All right, so I want us to take just a couple of minutes to center and ground and connect ourselves, and to set some intentions for what it is that we want to learn from one another today, okay? So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, and just honor your body, be in a very comfortable and alert but relaxed position, and just take some deep breaths all the way into your belly, all the way into every part of your body. And as you're breathing into your chest, feel that you are making space around your heart. Feel that you are making space in your belly and your legs. Feel that you are just expanding all within your human, beautiful physical body, and making room and making space, and being so soft and so pliable and so gentle and so tender. And bring your attention for just a moment to your heart. Just kind of feel yourself sinking and putting all of your attention and all of your focus on this center, which is who you really are, where you are in your own unique gifts and your own unique talents and your own unique desires. All right, now feel this energy expanding out into the room to include everyone that's here. Allow this energy to include me, to include everyone that's in this circle, that's in this gathering with us. And feel how we are all a part of the one, that we are all equally loved and supported and nourished by the beautiful energy of Mother Earth. And we are all bathed and enveloped and absorbing the love of the universe that is in every single atom, which includes every single atom that makes up you, that makes up me. So while we are beautiful human beings having this amazing physical experience, in truth, who we really are is this godlike essence that is connected to God, to source, to spirit, to whatever word you use to name the force that beats your heart, that grows your fingernails, that moves your lungs without any effort from you. Now, this is the magic and power that is us, that we all have access to in every moment. And now take just a moment to imagine that your mind is empty, your heart is open, you're a thirsty sponge, ready and willing and eager to absorb new information, to grow, to stretch out into your own edges, to discover things about yourself and the universe that will arm you and empower you to move forward in the next moment, creating your life exactly the way you wish to. And together we say thank you, and so it is, and so it shall be. And just gently bring yourself back to this present moment, but memorize this feeling of being completely connected to me, to God, to the earth, to every atom in the universe, to the chair that you're sitting on, to all of the prosperity and joy and freedom that is right here waiting for you to allow it in. All right, so open your eyes and come back to me. All right, so what we're going to learn today all exists in this one little graphic. So again, if you are watching on Facebook Live, there's a link there that you can click and come and join us over on Zoom. And again, I'm kind of technologically challenged at the moment. I'm not perfectly aware of everything that's going on. But I'm having total faith that the people that need to be here are here, and the people that will see the recording will see the recording. But if you're with us on Zoom, then you're able to see the slides and to join us for the Q&A that we'll have at the end of this little presentation. So this little graphic could describe levels of consciousness. It could describe levels of awareness. It could describe levels of creation, which is the way that we're kind of going to do this today. So if you think about the story that I told you about my life and when I was living disconnected from source, during that time I was deeply in love with the law of attraction and with the power of positive thinking and mind over matter and all of the ways that we create as human beings with our thoughts and with our vibrations. But instead of this being an empowering feeling, it was I was literally in my journal, my sacred book that I shared with some of you earlier in the presentation. I was writing off like a high school kid that was in trouble. I was writing my lottery numbers over and over again. I was writing things like, I am 115 pounds over and over and over. I am financially free over and over and over. I get all of these external things that I was trying so hard to create in my life. This is that action level. Even though I was trying to do it with my mind, I was trying to create from a human, from a very basic physical, mortal type of power, right? And we do this a lot. This is what we see a lot in the world, that if you want to achieve happiness and freedom and success, then you have to do this. You have to follow these steps. You have to create these actions. So let's just take the example of vibrant health, of feeling amazing in your body. So many times we put ourselves on a rigorous workout routine and we force ourselves through the steps of that, and we put ourselves on a restricted diet and we deny ourselves this and that and the other, trying to create from this place of the physical world, from this place of behaviors and habits and attitudes, from ego, from mortal power. We sometimes call this the masculine way of creating. Now, don't get me wrong, in being a co-creator in this universe, yes, there are things that we do. Yes, there are actions that are required. we may someday aspire to be the powerful creator that can say, I manifest a strawberry and it pops up in the palm of our hand. But until then, and in the meantime, being in this human body and having this human experience means that we are creating in the physical world. We're using these bodies, we're using these minds, we're using our intellect to get things to happen, right? So the difference is in where we start. So you can see and feel how that 3 decades of being powerless because I was unplugged, I was not connected to my source, was rigorous, was like trying to push a giant boulder up a very, very steep hill. And you might make some progress in this way, but eventually your inner beliefs, your energy will run out and all of that momentum will be lost, and you'll go back right back to where you were, or and even further behind than you were. So what we're talking about today is creating from the top down. And you will witness this in your life, that when your first attention is to having a great relationship with your highest self, with God, with spirit, with source. Again, this is not about religion, and this is not about any certain way of worshiping or being. It is just the understanding and awareness that this power exists everywhere, and you get to call it whatever you want. But you are responsible for your relationship with this power and how much you allow in, how much you allow yourself to benefit, how much you allow yourself to appreciate how resourced you are by a loving universe that always has your back, right? So this is number one. This is having a spiritual connection that looks like whatever you decide that it looks like, but it is always empowering. It is always uplifting. If your spiritual life is telling you that you are bad, that you are wrong, that you are being judged, that you are going to suffer in any way, form, or fashion, ask yourself if a loving creator would really speak to you in that way, or if that is the voice of the human ego that got interjected into all of our communications. And it does, because we are human and we do all have egos and we do all have agendas, right? Okay, so your connection to spirit empowers you, uplifts you, makes you feel loved and worthy and able to attempt whatever it is that you want to attempt in this life. And then the second part of this is your mindset, and it is very connected, but at the same time, there's stuff going on in your brain that you are not aware of. There are unconscious patterns that were put there by society, that were put there by culture, especially for women. We have these a whole lot more prevalently than men do, and by life experience. And these patterns are running in the background, and they will trump your intentions every time. They will trump your behaviors every time. So an example of this is that you cannot create a successful business on top of an inner belief that you are not smart enough, an inner belief that you are not good enough, an inner belief that there's only so much prosperity that is out there in the universe and that there's not enough for you. All of these underlying beliefs we will be bringing out into the open and thanking them for their service. I learned from Rachel Newman, who is also providing one of our bonuses in this in your unsung song. She is also one of my mentors, and she taught me recently a brand new way of looking at beliefs, in that when we formed them, they were in service of us, right? We don't create things that are bad. We don't create things to harm ourselves on purpose, but the belief that kept us safe when we were a teenager can now be holding us back and keeping us from creating the life that we want as a wise and empowered and enlightened and discerning grown-up woman, right? So being able to be the master of your mindset, being able to look at the things in your life that are going on and to see the positive. Now, this part of my story, when I was rebuilding my life from being bankrupt and homeless to living in my beautiful little cabin here in the woods with all the things that I desired, and now living according to my purpose, this is what we are doing here together, this is my life's purpose, and I will always do this in some form or fashion. And it will always fill me up, and it will always make me feel prosperous and free because I'm doing what I was put here to do, right? And no matter how long it takes for this to evolve into whatever it is going to become, it doesn't matter because I'm in love with the journey. I'm in love with what is happening right this minute, and I'm in love with what I'm going to be creating in the next decade, 2 decades, 5 decades, however long I wind up being here on the planet. And this is what I want for all of us. This is the goal of all of the work that we are doing together. So when you are able to look at the people that you love, your life partner, the person who shares your life, and you see all of the things that are beautiful and amazing and wonderful and lovable about them, and you let all of the things that are displeasing just pass right on by as if they don't exist, they will cease to exist. Your relationships will directly reflect what you are looking for. This is exactly how the human mind works. If we are looking for things to love and appreciate, that's what we see, that's what we find. And every moment that we're taking to complain, to criticize, to feel sorry for ourselves is energy that we are spending towards more things that we do not want. That's another great analogy that Wayne Dyer talked about in one of the audios, is that it's like someone handed you $1 million and said, go spend this however you want, and you go out and spend it on all the things that you don't want. This is how you are spending your energy, by your attention, by your intention. So on my way to this beautiful little place that I live in, there was a stop at a little 250 square foot basement apartment in the middle of a town. So nobody was free. We couldn't go outside. The cats couldn't go outside. The dog couldn't go outside without a leash. It was crowded. I didn't have control of my thermostat. It was freezing. There were a lot of things that I could have complained about in that little tiny little apartment, which was all I could find and all I could afford at the moment. And had I chosen that path, I would probably still be there. That the path that I chose instead was to consciously look for amazing things about that place, right? Learning to love and appreciate exactly where I was. And there were just as many things that were beautiful. There was a beautiful little screened-in porch that looked over a lake. There was pizza delivery. There was Chinese delivery. There were, all of the conveniences of living in a town. And the list goes on and on and on. But the point is that I could not manifest this beautiful life that I was envisioning for myself without first appreciating what was already there, because we attract what we are. Right? Okay, so we're connected to spirit. We are the master of our mindset, and we are consciously every day exercising this muscle. And so every time that you see something that you don't like, and you make the deliberate choice to go, you know what? I'm not going to give my attention there. I'm going to give my attention over here to what I do like. Every time you do make that decision, you're making yourself more and more likely to automatically go there. And this is how you begin to just relish and be in love with every single moment of your life, right? And so then this finally brings us to our vision. Now, there are 3 words that get used a lot around this. One is vision, one is dream, and one is goal, right? So I want to kind of define for you the way that I use these words in my work and in my life. So when I was in that little 250 square foot apartment, I had a vision of the type of home that I wanted to be in. I knew what it felt like. I knew the type of scenery I would see when I looked outside. So I was able to add sensory input to this whole vision, what it smelled like, what it tasted like, the kinds of things that I would do there, the way that it would feel. So the hows of how I was going to get there, how I was going to buy a house when I had a bankruptcy, not easy in our physical world, but clearly possible. So all of those things. So that is a vision. That was the biggest that I could dream for the near future. I wasn't equipped to have a bigger dream than that. I could not imagine ditching my lifetime career of being in sales and advertising and becoming a happiness coach. I didn't have the stepping off place to make that decision at that time. But within a year of being here and relishing all of this amazing stuff that I had manifested for my life, at that point it was very easy to go, you know what, this is my purpose. I can circle back to that 13-year-old girl who wanted to serve, and this is how I want to serve, right? So that was the vision. And this is vital to be able to create the next phase of your life, because if you don't know what you're aiming at, how will you ever hit it? How will you create a direction for yourself? How will you make informed decisions about what to do next if you don't know the direction that you want to go in? So this is the third really vital thing that you need to create a life of prosperity and freedom. You must have a strong connection to your source. You must be the master of your mindset, and you must know where it is that you want to go and how it is that you want to feel. Now, goals exist down in the actions, habits, routines, systems, in that base level of creation. A goal is, I will lose 10 pounds by this date. And there are physical actions that go along with it. Now, there's not one thing wrong with having goals. Goals are amazing and wonderful and powerful. So if you have a goal of having beautiful, vibrant health, and that is existing on top of a belief that you are so worthy, that your needs are important, that your well-being is just as important as everyone else's, then suddenly the actions and the behaviors and the actions that are necessary to achieve your goals that will lead you to your vision become inspired. So creating the easy way starts with your spiritual connection and your attitude and your perspective, and interacting with your vision and your self-awareness. And from here you begin to understand the knowledge and the skills that you need to accomplish, that you need to gain in order to accomplish the things that you want in this life. Right? So if you are in this place where you're like, I want to write a book, I know that I have this amazing message to share with the world, but I don't know how to write a book. I don't know how to go about that. This is knowledge that you need to learn. There are skills that you need to obtain in order to deliver this gift in the way that you want to, right? So I'm hoping that this is making sense. So when we create from the spirit to the behaviors, everything is easy. Action is inspired. Things flow. The universe backs you up in everything that you want to do. And life is just really good. When we're creating from the bottom up, it can be done. We can get things done as a human being, but we will always be limited by, especially if you're working down in these bottom levels and just ignoring the top three, that's going to make for a hard life. And I would venture to say that it's never going to be fulfilling. It's never going to be the life of purpose that you deep in your heart are longing for. This is where I was in those 3 decades. And I could have just continued to live my life that way, just, succeeding and failing and doing all of the things in the outside world, trying to turn myself into what I believe the world would value, instead of starting over from within and deciding what my deepest desires are, what my purpose is, and then creating my life in that way. All right? Okay, so all of this that we are talking about, we're going to dive much, much, much deeper into your unsung song, which is this so inspired, if I do say so myself, program that I'm creating for women of my generation, women over 50. And this launch that is happening on July 20th is when we'll have our first class, is the maiden voyage. You will be the founding members, the 12 women who are chosen to and choose to participate in this program will be my forever tribe, right? And so what your unsung song is it's a garden space. It is a container that we create together where we are able to step forward and magnify one another. Now, this is a very important and new sort of aspect of my work, in that think about how we were brought up to not toot our own horn, to not think too much of ourselves, to not brag, to not, really show off our gifts and show off our talents. And so we muffle our brilliance, and we don't show up in the fullness of how we are amazing. And then at the same time, we create these constraints for ourselves that, maybe they're influenced by society, but mostly we do it to ourselves. And we don't want to ask for help because we don't want to be a burden. We don't want to be seen as weak. We don't want to be seen as dependent. And we let our pride and our ego get in the way, where we don't want to admit that we don't know something. And so we can't shine and we can't ask for help. That leaves a very diluted version of ourselves that we're bringing forth in the world. And so in this container, we're going to learn to amplify one another. We're going to learn how amazing it feels to step forward in confidence and claim our gifts and claim our skills and claim our talents and claim the ways that we shine, to be seen, to be heard, to be who we really are. And at the same time, we're going to experience what it feels like to ask for and receive support, to ask for and receive ideas and resources and connections and help in developing ourselves into who we want to be in order to live the life of our dreams. Right? So this beautiful container of support, of nourishment, of unconditional love, of praise and admiration and magnification and recognition, this is what we are creating together in your unsung song. The things that you will benefit from, the things that you will come out of this program with, are a strong sense of yourself and confidence in your unique qualities. So that it is so tempting for us to look around in the world and to imagine that all of the things that we want to create have already been created by someone else. And this is absolutely not the truth. You are the only you that there has ever been or ever will be. All of your attributes are put together in a unique combination that is just you. And no one can deliver your gifts except for you. And so if you think about it in this way, you kind of have a responsibility, don't you, to claim your gifts, to share your gifts with the world, right? To have the courage and the bravery to change the world in the ways that you are meant to. Yeah, so you will learn how to create a clear vision of how you want your life to be. You will develop the wisdom and the strength and the courage to ask for and accept support, to embrace your connection to source. You will have a clear path of growth. You will have a clear understanding of how you go about recognizing what it is that you want to create, and then figuring out the skills and capacities that you need in order to make this happen. Now, these can be internal skills of, the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you indulge in self-care, the way that you are the manager of your perspective and the stories that they tell you, that you tell yourself. These could be interpersonal skills in figuring out the ways that you're communicating your needs in order to enrich your relationships. There's so many layers to you, and there are so many layers to this life. And we're going to dive into each and every one of these and take everything apart and put it back together in a way that feels so good and so authentic and so empowering to you and to me and to all of us that are in this container. So the ultimate goal is that every day you wake up knowing that you are living your purpose, you are in love with your life, and you are completely jazzed about the infinite possibilities of the things that you can create next, and the ways in which you can reach within yourself and bring forth all of your potential in ways that will astound you, in ways that you can't even imagine from this place that you're sitting right now. Okay? All right, so there are 13 different topics, and there are 13 different modules, and there are 13 different meetings, and we will have all of these different things. But again, this is kind of something that happens organically. So we're going to be working on mindset and meditation and self-care and self-love all throughout the program. And we're going to be inventorying and our toolbox and checking in with all of our skills and talents and pumping ourselves up in one module, but also all throughout the program. So we're going to learn to tend to the whole woman, your mind, your body, your spirit. We're going to really dive into the beauty of radical self-care. All of these beautiful modules will be combined to create this completely and totally custom experience for this first group, because these 12 women are going to be the ones who shape this, how this program is repeated next. We're going to learn together what's the perfect length of time for our meetings. Do we need shorter or longer? Do we need extra? Would we love to gather together outside of our weekly coaching and support programs to do breath work, to do yoga, to, the sky's the limit for what we can create within this beautiful container. And I am just really looking forward to having the time to really delve into all of this one-on-one and in our sacred circle of 13. So these are the things that the 13-week custom journey will include. Again, we will get together every week for an hour, except for the first session, which will be a 2-hour orientation session, because this is where we are really going to learn what it feels like to see one another, to be amplified, to be magnified, to be supported, and to really create a strong foundation for the relationships that we're going to create over the next 13 weeks. So 1 hour live sessions every week, 3 private sessions with me where we can really get specific about the challenges, the work that you're doing in the world, the ways that you're creating, the issues that you are confronting, the beliefs that are coming up for you that need specific attention and help and love in unraveling. We will be creating a Facebook group. This will probably move to a different platform in the future, but for the moment it will be on Facebook, and you will have lifetime access to this community that will not always be free, but for you, my special founding members, it will be free. You will get 24/7 access to me via Telegram, which is an app that you can text and talk, and this is priceless. It has never been done before. You'll also get lifetime access to the recordings and the course materials that will continue to evolve. So if there's something that you want to go back and look at more closely in your life, you can go and look at new materials. You can look at new worksheets. You can look at new recordings and review the original coaching sessions that we did together. And I'm so excited to be able to tell you that we are having 2 special bonuses that are worth $350 and $250 respectively. My beautiful friend Rachel Newman, who is also my personal mentor and has been for more than a decade, she has been helping women in her Magnetic Muse program. I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about that in a minute. That is included for this group only. And also another mentor friend, dear friend, Eden, is offering us an energetic acupuncture group session as part of this program as well. So I am so excited to experience both of those events with those 2 beautiful women. So the total value of this journey is $3,000, but the price is not going to be that. For the founding members, the actual price will be $19.44 when this launches to future cohorts. But for you, my first 12, my sacred circle, your price will only be $14.44. And I love the plan numbers. I love all of this, that the 4 is the number of structures. The 4 is the number of building things that we can climb on and launch the rest of our life from, right? So that price is good only for this maiden voyage, and the cart will open, the cart is open now, and enrollment will go all the way up until midnight on July the 19th, which is the day before our class begins, or when all 12 seats are filled, whichever comes first, all right? So I love to reward people who take quick action, who are decisive, who step up and say, yes, I'm in, I'm claiming this for myself, I'm jumping into this journey. So if you are able to make this decision in the next 23 hours, so that's by noon tomorrow, you can save an additional $500 on the program total. So that brings your total to only $944. I don't think that I will ever have another 3-month program that is priced this low. So this is an amazing opportunity for you to be a founding member of Your Unsung Song, to add your wisdom to the way that this program evolves and is created and unfolds for us. So again, the deadline for this discount will be at noon tomorrow, July the 14th. Enrollment will be open until July the 19th at midnight. But tomorrow afternoon, the price will go back up to $14.44. So say your prayers, do your meditation, look into your heart, or just go ahead and dive right on in right now. I'm going to go over and put the link. Actually, I'm going to check and see. I'm going to tell you about these workshops, and then I'm going to take this off the screen and check and see if Rachel and Eden are here with us to share with us. So one of the bonuses that is here just for this group is the Magnetic Muse Live Workshop with my beautiful friend Rachel. She is amazing at helping us to embrace the magic of who we really are, to be our own inspiration, and then to in turn be an inspiration for the world, so that you can see how this is in perfect alignment and perfect agreement with our way of creating from the top down, from the spiritual to the physical. And she has a beautiful way of teaching, aligning with your essence and engaging this feminine power in your life in the way that you want to create it. And then my mystical medicine woman, Eden St. Clair, my dear friend, she is so brilliant and amazing. And energetic acupuncture is actually very new to me too, and I'm excited to learn about this. But what it actually means is that these beliefs that we are looking to uncover and unravel have an energetic frequency. And Eden is going to spend an hour or so with us to help us to identify and deconstruct those old beliefs by rebalancing that energy so that it's no longer holding us back, it's empowering us, and it's untethering our joy. So I'm so looking forward to that, and you are going to totally love Eden as well. So again, just to recap before we open up to questions, and again, you can ask questions about anything. You can ask questions about this program, but you can ask questions about, what your neighbor said yesterday. This is time that we get to spend together however we choose to, right? So there are only 12 seats available in this program. I'm keeping the circle very, very small, the sacred number 13. And your fast action discount of $500 is only good until noon tomorrow. Enrollment is only open until July 19th. So there will be a maximum of 12 people. So if we fill up before that time, then enrollment will be cut off whenever the 12 seats are filled. Our program will start on July the 20th at noon with the 2-hour orientation, where we are going to put your name in the sacred book. We're going to choose your crystal that is representative of your journey, and we're going to really get to know one another and create a really beautiful sacred place and a power partnership among the 13 of us that is going to result in amazing miracles that I know we will create together. All right. So this is the graphic that I promised you earlier. So 12 women will form this sacred circle, and your name will go in this book, right? And this is a physical book that I have here in my hands. It's written in my handwriting, which is not quite as neat as all of that, but yeah, this is miraculous, and this is a wonderful and beautiful journey that I'm so excited to be on with all of you. All right. Okay, so does anyone have questions? Anybody have anything that they want to add or mention, or anything at all? We are all together here.
I'd like to say thank you, Lauren. That was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And your 13-week course, it sounds really spiritual where you start. And I want to say that's very congruent. So thank you for sharing and inviting.
Awesome. So tell me, so Jade is one of my mastermind partners, and so is there anything that's unclear about how I explain I haven't done a launch like this in a really long time, so it's like starting over from scratch as a newborn beginner.
No, I would say, like, actually took a page of notes. So, your stories and tying them all together, your graphic about the everything and the hard way and the easy way, I thought was really well laid out. And then how you integrated that with your course coming up. I think that it was a really nice flow with like a really well thought out flow, actually, more than nice. So yes, so thank you. I appreciate.
So Jade, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second, because this is a perfect opportunity for us to demonstrate amplification and support. Do you remember the exercise that we did early on in our Women's Center coaching training, right? So let's see. Rachel, are you actually here, or are you just pretending to be here with your camera not on? There's my girl. All right, so the two of you, I love this idea. I hope that it's okay with you. You can say no, but it's totally fine. So in our first group meeting, this is what we're going to do in the orientation session. So everybody's going to get to introduce themselves and say what they think is their most brilliant gift, and also to say what is their deepest struggle, and to just tell a little bit about yourself. And then the other one, to describe the brilliance that you see. You remember this exercise, Rachel? So we're going to demonstrate for everybody that watches this webinar in the future what it means and what it feels like to amplify one another. So Jay, why don't you go first? You introduce yourself, and then Rachel, you do the magnification and support part.
Okay, I'm Jade Mahan. I am a health and life coach, and I came here today to kind of get in touch with my superpower, which for me is learning and growing. And so I know that I've learned from you, Lauren, and I appreciate that. It's just something that fills me up, is when I know I can learn, I can take a nugget, and I've got a page full of nuggets, so thank you.
Okay. Rachel, I don't think you guys understood my instructions. Rachel, tell me how brilliant Jade is.
Yes, I think that your ability and your disposition to learn something new is so beautiful. I think it's one of the main characters a human being can have, because until the last day here, we should be learning something. We should be growing in some way, and that's what you are. I love your energy. I have to tell you that. I think that you have a light energy. We feel like we can... There is a phrase that says, be so happy that people cannot help but being happy around you. I feel that energy in Jade, especially the way you talked now. And and I'm looking forward to learn more about how everything that you have been learning in your life, how you can help us with that as well. I think that's something that is very, very interesting to learn more about.
Yeah. So, and Jade, I would have loved to have heard you say, I am a super learner. I am absolutely incredible at absorbing new information and seeking it out. And I'm so proud of my seeker's mind. I'm so proud that I'm an explorer. I am so proud that I am willing and able to learn from everybody that's around me. It's a beautiful gift. And you say it as if it's matter of fact, everyday run of the mill thing, and it's not.
No, you're right. Yes. Thank you for the safe space.
Yeah.
Brilliant feedback.
Yeah. So this is the goal in your unsung song, is to every week we're going to get together and we're going to get in the habit of being proud of our brilliance. We're going to get in the habit of being proud of our accomplishments. We're going to get in the habit of asking for help and going, holy crap, y'all, I don't know how to do this, and I need somebody to help me feel better, help me learn how to learn, help me, whatever it is that we need, we're going to learn that it is safe. And then this magical group of women is going to go out in the world, and we're going to abolish the isolation that's happening. That, we are going to go and teach other people to lean on one another, to be strong in your communities and not isolate yourself and not disappear yourself. We're going to convince the world that you are lovable and worthy. I can't wait.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So there is no law that says just because we said we were going to be here 90 minutes that we have to stay 90 minutes. Esther Tatiana Deepali, I struggle with her name so much. Do you have any questions?
Deepali.
Deepali.
No questions really. It was beautiful attending this session. I really like the whole infographic about the hard way and the easy way. And if you have a few minutes, can you spend more time on the topmost part of the triangle? How to really go into the spiritual health part, because I struggle with that constantly. I keep getting wounded in my spiritual journey a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, absolutely, I can. So one of the things that happened to me, and a lot of the times that we absorb messages from culture and from religious leaders and even from literature, from media, we absorb things from every direction all the time, and we make meaning about them in our unconscious. And sometimes ferreting those out and reframing them is not that simple. So it's sort of just watching as things arise and then reframing them when that happens. So for instance, one of the things that led me away from a spiritual life is that, I was taught that my body is bad, that the desires for sex, for fun, for, all of the sensory things that we do with our bodies are bad, and that I'm a sinner and there's nothing I can do ever to make myself worthy of God's love. And so who is going to live a nice life? You're like, well, I'm going to hell anyway. There's nothing I can do about this. Why would I care about my fellow man? Why would I make any effort to look outside of myself and be more than just a human animal, right? So Deepali, are you willing to share something a little bit more specific about one of your challenges that we can talk through it?
Well, so here's the phase in life where I am at. I'm maybe looking at, discovering what my true purpose is, and probably shifting careers or shifting jobs into something that is more meaningful, that is more fulfilling, satisfying. And I have been doing a lot of the action part of it. And today when I saw the infographic, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should not be doing the action part of it so much.
Right.
I have to be doing a little bit more of, discovering it or leaving it to the higher power, which I struggle with. Yes. Like, what is that?
Okay, yeah, I understand. All right, so the number one, the easiest, most efficient tool for connecting to spirit is meditation, is sitting very, very, very quietly, and that's the starting point, and feeling into your heart and just sitting in stillness and allowing yourself to feel with your brilliant imagination how empowered you are, and get used to the feeling that you are everywhere. Your body ends at this point where your skin is, but your spirit is literally encompassing the entire universe. There's think of God, spirit, source, all that is, whatever your maker, whatever word you want to use, think of that as the ocean, and you are a drop of water. So when you are the droplet in the water, there's no difference between you and God and the Creator. So there is zero separation. Now, as human beings, our ego wants us to take that drop of water and go, oh, this is me, and that's all of you. You all are different than me. I am this drop of water. But when that drop of water is left to its own devices, it just dissolves and goes back into the atmosphere and returns to the source. So there really is never a way of separating yourself from your source. There's only the feeling that you are separated from your source. And these are choices that you make. These are choices in the way that you are thinking, in the way that you are looking at things. And in your unsung song, in the happy and free on purpose methodology that we use, some of the exercises that we do are, first of all, to remember what it is that you really like, that you really love, that you really want. So if you look back when you were 7 years old, there were probably things that you really, really loved when you were 7, but life took those away from you and taught you that those weren't right, those weren't appropriate, those weren't good. And so you let those dreams go. And so we do exercises to get you back in touch with that part of yourself. And then we also do an inventory of all of your skills and gifts and talents, from being able to roll your tongue. Some people
I did the whole
right?
Yeah.
Yes, and just
I did the whole happy and free on purpose course on Insight Timer. That's how I discovered you.
Oh yes, that's right.
Beautiful course, yes.
Yes, I remember. So a lot of the principles that you went through in that course, we're going to dive deeper into, and meditation and ritual and creating reverence in your life that is purposeful. So if you are going to do the dishes and you turn that into a ceremony, you go, I'm going to light my dishes washing candle, and I'm going to put on my dishes washing shirt, and I'm going to put on my special dishes washing ponytail, and I'm going to put on special music for washing the dishes. So you have turned washing the dishes into a sacred event.
Okay.
Just by your intention, right? And so if you begin to get in the habit of going, okay, this moment is sacred. This moment that I'm in right now is where all of my power is. What can I do right in this second? How can I think? How can I feel? How can I be that is in honor of this sacred being that I am, this spiritual being having a human experience? So it's not that you are running around in this meat sack occasionally checking in with spirit. That's not how it works. You're spirit all the time. And this body is just your vessel that is beautiful. It's amazing that, let's not put down our bodies at all. We came here because we wanted to see and smell and taste and touch and hold and eat food and drink alcohol and have sex and, well, not necessarily just alcohol, drink beverages. Revealed a little bit about me there, right? We meant to have these experiences in this human body, and none of them are bad, right?
Right. So what I'm hearing is spend some time in meditation and really celebrate the little things in a sacred way is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you do that, then I think life gets easier and the things that you're aiming for flow naturally. Is that what you say?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So if you take the time in the morning to set your intention to choose the momentum that you're going to have for the day, then then it's like it's like, oh, well, this is the next thing that is that I should do because I'm in the flow. I'm aligned. Rachel would say, aligned with my essence. I'm aligned with my purpose. I know where I'm going, and I can easily see and feel that this action, saying yes to this, is going to take me in that direction. And at the same time, saying yes to that is going to take up my time. It's going to take up my energy. It's going to put my vision behind something else. And that's a decision that you get to make, right?
Right. And yet you can be in that space for some time, but what I really struggle with is slipping into, all the negative thoughts that hit me and remembering the disappointments that hit me. And then I just open YouTube or Instagram and just blank it all out.
Yep, numb out. Yep, numb out with me. Yeah, I'm right there with you, sweetie. So here's a way that you can look at that. So when you feel this thing coming on and you feel yourself about to turn on the TV, just go, instead of going, oh, damn, here's the negativity again. Here's that old story again. Instead, go, oh, good. This is awesome. This has shown right up for me so that I can see it. I can look it in the face and I can make it into something different. I can learn from this. I can reframe it. I can thank it for its service. So again, I was telling you about Rachel's the new enlightening, and we're all spiritual beings here. We are all very spiritually connected and spiritually informed, if you will. But there is still so much that we can learn from each other no matter where we are. So Rachel, and I think I'm pretty smart and pretty educated and in all of this stuff. But just last week Rachel taught me this new way of looking at your beliefs, in that you created that story to serve yourself at the time. It had a use for you. It had a benefit for you, and it doesn't anymore. So, but instead of saying I squash you, I banish you, I abolish you, say thank you for your service, and I'm going to welcome you to transmute into something that does serve me. And this is again a practice that we will go through in your unsung song together more than once, because repatterning old beliefs is a very core principle of the things that we're going to be learning.
Okay,
Does that help deeply? Yeah, I'm so happy.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm still on the fence of taking the course or not. I still think about it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that this is where I am in my journey.
Okay, cool.
Listening to your, especially the course on Insight Time was really helpful.
Good. Yeah, thank you. You know what? If you want to have a one-on-one call to talk more about this, I'm happy to. And if it helps, there's also a payment plan that breaks up the payment into 3 payments. It's not exactly a third. It's a little bit more for processing and things like that, but that's available to you as well if that's helpful.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Rachel.
Just would like to leave a small testimonial, because I have been working with Lauren. And Lauren, as a mentor, as a coach, she's able to open a space for us where we can be who we are, non-judgmental at all, because I think that's something that we are always worried about, like as people that are already in our path, self-development path. Sometimes you feel, how am I going to say that I still do this or that? She's totally judgmental free, no judgmental at all. And she is able to help us to have more clarity about what we have right now to give to the world. And when I mean the world, is our partner, our children, our friends, our work, everything. And what I love about her as well, working with her, is that her story is very strong for me. So she had her struggles, she overcame that, and she still have all that sweetness in her. Because sometimes when life's tough on us, we can get a little bitter. And then she's an example for me for that. She has the tools, the spiritual tools. As a coaching, she's teaching me so much. I've seen some people talking about her work as well. It's really inspiring. So I'd like to say that as a student, Lauren is the right person for you to go from your point A to B. And that's it. I think it's going to be an amazing program. I'm excited for that. Thank you so much, Lauren, for this amazing class you just taught us, for opening this space, for allowing everybody to be who they are, and for attracting so many beautiful women as well, because it's like a sisterhood that you attract to us. And this group that is now born is a sisterhood. So thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I was tempted to go, oh, shucks, it's like we all have so much work to do on being able to really accept compliments and accept praise with grace. So thank you for the opportunity to practice that, Rachel. All right. Anybody else? Jade, are you raising your hand or are you saying goodbye?
Yeah, I was just saying goodbye, and something. I think you meant to put your registration link in the chat.
In the chat, yes, I did. Thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of
remind
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you.
See you later, Jade. I'll see you next week, right? Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, this is an important thing that I forgot to do, right? Where's the link? Here we go. I think we can get there here. Okay. All right. There is the registration link, and I'm gonna post this webinar up on the website and share the link. Oh, you know what I need to tell you guys is the coupon code for your $500 discount. Hang on, just a minute. Action 23, of course. Of course, that's what it is. Action 23 is your fast action discount code that saves you $500 if you're able to decide and sign up by noon tomorrow. So if you're watching this recording, that deadline is 12 o'clock Eastern time on July the 14th. All right.
Lauren.
Tatiana?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for your inspiration you're giving to everybody, your radiance and your inner light. That is really, really, I don't know, it's so, attracting. So, I can't, I just see your smiling face and I feel so happy already and grounded almost.
Right.
So I have a question because I started a little bit later. I came on the line and when the courses started, when they start?
Okay, the first class will be on July 20th, so a week from today.
July 20th.
July
Okay.
20th. And yes, it will be at this time at noon Eastern time. And our first gathering will be for 2 hours so that we form a really strong container and get to meet everybody. And yeah. And
can I also share it with my Facebook?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would be very, very grateful. It would be amazing to have the first launch filled, to have all 12 seats filled. But if it's not, then that's absolutely okay too. Everything.
And you are number 13, yes, and you are number 13, as I understood. It's 12th place. Mm-hmm. And can you tell me why it's sacred? Why it's the sacred number?
I'm not certain. Well, that's a really good question. I just like the number 13. It's, people used to be afraid of Friday the 13th. And so it was kind of a rebellion. Like, if everybody else is going to be afraid of that number, I'm going to embrace that number. And 13 shows up in sacred texts at other times, but right now I can't really remember where and when they are. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, but, as far as I know, 13 in numerical system, it's the foundation numbers. So you're building the foundation for yourself. You can say like that,
Yeah.
So
well, and 1 and 3, it's actually a 4. 13 is a 4, which is
4.
Which is the number that I like, that is in my chart a lot. Rachel has shared my numerology chart with me.
Yes, and as you said, we start from the.
I know. I remember why. 13 is the traditional number of a coven of witches. Yeah, that's why I like the number 13.
That's explaining the number.
I like that number.
Thank you.
And can I say something else?
Sure.
13, for people that study the tarot, is the death. The death means renewal, changing your life, finishing a cycle, starting a new cycle. And in Kabbalah, that is what I use a lot, or what I study. 13 is the number for 1 and for love. It's the numerology for 1 and for love. So it's very powerful for us as well.
Nice.
Perfect. Now we know that.
Now we know.
Good.
Great question.
Lauren, have I missed the class? Actually, it was saying 7 p.m. my time.
Oh, did I do that wrong? I'm so sorry. I just went.
I have no idea. I was waiting the whole time, but I have the recording. Sorry.
Yes, no, that's okay. You come on. I will put the recording up and share it everywhere so that we all have a chance to
May I something about your YouTube videos?
Yeah.
The one you talk about masculine and feminine. I loved it. I loved it. I really love your message and can resonate with it. And I think I am, when you said feminism, and those two groups behind it, I have a look at the video that you said, and I think the world is turning really bad.
Yeah.
We need to change that.
It's
yes.
yeah.
We need to combine the power. Yeah. It's not only one, but we need each other.
Yes.
I mean, and it's not only masculine like a male or feminine like a female, but we have those two in every one of us. Yeah. And the power lies balancing those two, and using it together.
Yeah.
As something powerful. I really loved your video. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Your message.
This is something that I've recently become very, very passionate about. And the more we talk about it, the more conversations I have, the more it's pointed out to me that, especially in the United States, we're divided on so many things. There's so much just divisiveness over everything, over race, over religion, over politics, over sports. And, to have men and women pitted against each other, we definitely have a lot of work to do out in the world to heal that rift and change that conversation. Yeah.
Thank you for putting that out. I love it.
Thank you. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? We can say goodbye. It's 1:21. All right, so I know how to get in touch with every single one of y'all. So I'll make sure that you have the link to the playback to share and the registration link and the coupon code and all of those things. I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook. Bye. No.